Oh, I forgot my pad.
Oh, we'll go get it.
Well, my pad's kind of uncharged.
Oh, well, you can plug it in. Hi, Kathy. No, but we are going to talk about that. So you can see us right now. See me. Walter went upstairs to get his iPad. He forgot it. And hear us okay? Why are we late? I just have 4 o'clock now. Well, 4:01, I guess. So we'll get started here shortly. I'll put this up so I can see it better. It's very awkward. Hi, Laura. So, how's everybody surviving the big bug? Um, this is our 10th day in isolation. We don't have it, but we're doing what our government and health authorities have suggested, that we not have contact with other people. And so we've pretty much been in the house. We did make a little trip out yesterday, but only briefly, to pick up some necessities. And we do go out. We went out this afternoon just for a walk in our neighborhood, but we didn't come into contact with any people. And if we saw other people coming down the sidewalk with us, we walked to the other sidewalk on the other side. So we're practicing social distancing. Hi, Jeffrey's wife, aka Angela, and welcome. You're a new person. And hi, Cindy. And yeah, and I said hello to Laura and Kathy. Walter's back. He had to get his
Except I don't know
iPad.
where I'll put it.
Well, you can move some of this stuff a little bit, you know, put it off to the side. Your stencils don't have to sit in that spot. I just put them there. So, Laura says, hope Walter's feeling better.
Yeah, actually, I'm okay. I have a tiny bit of a cough. I know that's disconcerting, but other than that, it's okay.
So, anyways, if you saw the teaser for today's show, I had a different setup. I was going to try something different today where we had 2 cameras and I could switch between, you know, seeing us like you're seeing us now, and I could get down to a closer up on what we're doing. But I found this program yesterday and I spent most of the day trying to hook it up. It works with the iPhone and the iPad. And usually we do this through our iPhone and watch your comments on the iPad, which I have over here, and Walter has his over there. But it's just too cumbersome. And it also, I found, and you may have seen this if you saw the teaser, it only records in 480p, and we do 1080p. And it just looked too grainy, and it was too cumbersome to manipulate, so we're using what we always use. So we will hold up things at various stages so you can see what we're doing if you can't see it right there very clearly. Someday, maybe I'll have a better system, but at this point in time, better systems cost a fair amount of money to get something, you know, halfway's decent, and yeah, I'm not spending that money right now. Hi, Jules. Hi, Laura. Oh, and Laura, last week you mentioned, I think, Messiah on Netflix, and I've started watching it, and you're right, it's a very good show. I really like it. So, what's been happening before we get into Art Attack today? Update my mother. Well, I talked to her on the phone because they're definitely locked down at her nursing home. One of the nursing homes in the area, they've had 4 cases of coronavirus. And there's been several in Toronto as well in nursing homes. So her nursing home is not taking any chances. So everybody is barred from going in. And I just got an email from them today telling me that if any of the residents there had appointments outside of the building, that basically you're not taking them. So make other arrangements, basically do it by phone or FaceTime. They've set up FaceTime on some of their iPads at the nursing home. And they're helping the residents with that if they want to connect with their families. So they're really, you know, doing a wonderful job there, keeping all the residents safe, and I hope it helps, you know, a lot because, well, you know what'll happen. If somebody gets coronavirus there, it's just going to go all the way through the nursing home, and that's not good. Hi, Bonnie. And updates. Well, I'm sure you're sick and tired of hearing about the virus, and so we're not going to talk much about that today because We know. We know what we don't know. What we don't know is we don't know how long this is going to last. I think it's going to last quite a long time. This is the new normal. And as I said, we've pretty much been in self-isolation, not because we have the disease, but because we're doing what we're being asked to do by our government and our health authorities. And we're at home. And for me, I've been home for 10 days. Of course, there's no place to go or nothing to do when you're
Yeah,
out there.
all our restaurants are closed. Everything's closed
Stores
down.
are
In fact,
closed.
McDonald's sent out a message today in Canada that said that they only have the drive-through window open or delivery.
Yeah.
And you can't walk into their restaurants at all anymore.
No. Well, you can't walk into any restaurants because the government has shut them down, our provincial government. And it's happening all the way across the country. But apparently, we heard today the Prime Minister has come on television every day for the last 7 days, giving everybody updates. I mean, really, we have a remarkable Prime Minister. I don't think we could have had anybody better in a situation like this as him. He's calm, he's cool, he instills confidence. And regardless of your politics in this country, whether you support his party or the opposition, really, the opposition does not have anyone in their party, in my opinion, that can do what Trudeau's been doing. And right now we need faith in our government too. We have to put aside our political differences and just know that our government is working to our best interests. And that's the way I've chosen to look at it. Yeah, Laura says, yes, she's very impressed, and Bonnie agrees. Even when his wife is affected with COVID-19, he is calm. Yeah. And I mean, the pressure on him must be incredible right now. So I think we've got a great person in the position. Thank God he's not Trump. Okay, enough said about that. Other virus updates, something that's very upsetting though, that's come out. People are congregating on the beaches in Vancouver and apparently in Nova Scotia. And some in Quebec as well, in different places. And we've all been told that we're not supposed to be gathering in large groups and we're supposed to keep 6 feet apart and that kind of thing. What are these people thinking? Idiots. Idiots. We're trying to flatline this disease. And if people are going out there and having social contact with other people, that is not going to flatline it. That's just going to make things worse. So, idiots. That's all I can say. Idiots. I guess every country has their idiots. But, I mean, we should be taking a lesson from Italy and France right now with the way they handled or didn't handle this whole thing. So, we've got to learn. The situation is changing every day and not changing for the better right now. So why make it worse by just going out and doing your own thing and ignoring the health authorities and what the government has to say about it? That's just ludicrous. Completely ludicrous. Hi, Debs. You think they're invincible. True, but if you look at the videos, Walter, I haven't seen them.
I saw a picture of Vancouver beaches, and it wasn't just young people. It was older people. They're all sitting around on benches together, and they're like milling about, and they're all right next to each other. And they're people that look like they're in their like 40s and 50s too, and it's not just young people.
Just because one of the more vulnerable groups in the society are the elderly, well, they also say we're in that group too because we're over 60.
Well, technically, anybody over 50 is in that
Oh,
group.
now
So-
they've dropped it to that, have
Well,
they?
no, and it says that as soon as you hit around 50 or higher, but there's apparently a couple of people. There's a guy that recently passed away in our area or in
Toronto.
area that was 51. There's another guy. There's another 2 people in Ontario that are hospitalized. One's 48 and one's 40.
Oh. So you see, I don't think coronavirus really respects age of any type here. So anyways, we will get through this. It's definitely changing our lives very quickly, but we will get through it. Laura says, dumb. It is the passing before you know are contagious. Yeah.
Your people are getting it before they know they're contagious.
And Deb says, people on our news today in hundreds going to places. Snowdonia, Wales, for example. When will these people take this seriously? Like, really? We're our own worst enemies here. on this kind of thing. Um, Doctor on radio today said if it comes down to a choice, anyone over 65 might be refused a ventilator if there is a shortage. I'm caring for my 94-year-old mom in her home. I dread even going out for food. So far, my area of North Wisconsin is not overwhelmed yet. That's good. By the way, Stephen, she is driving me nuts. Yeah, that's one thing I'm very thankful for a couple of reasons, that my mother is in a nursing home, because I can't imagine. I said to Walter the other day, imagine if mom was still in her apartment and this was going on. She wouldn't be able to be there by herself. So that would mean she'd have to come and live with either us or my sister. Neither scenario would be worked out very well. It wouldn't be the disease she'd have to worry about. It would have to be a pillow over her head in the middle of the night. I joke, maybe, about it. But on top of it all, she's in the best place she can be in when it comes to being looked after and the precautions and everything. So I'm really happy. And I reminded my mother of this when I did get her on the phone the other day, that she was in the best place she could be in right now during this crisis. So, yep, someone has to be there for your mom. Yep, true. I have to go out I have to go out as I work in a hospital, but if I didn't work for NHS, I wouldn't be going out. Yes, and you know, you be safe, Debs, and all that, and I hope all the care workers are, because holy crap, I just couldn't imagine being somebody that's having to work with all of these people and the possibility of catching it themselves and the whole bit, with the scarcity of medical
Well, not only
protection.
that, it's not just this disease. I mean, there's still people
Well,
that
still
have
people with
cancer
other,
and everything else.
yeah,
So.
I mean, it's just got to be, you know, the seventh level of hell in that. Um, Bonnie says, I feel privileged to have that to do for her, as she has always been there for me. Yeah, I get it. Your comic relief on your mom is welcome by me. Yeah. And it is comic relief. It's how I handle things that are stressful, okay? If you haven't figured that one out, for those of you that are regulars, that's how I deal with these kind of things, okay? I'll just go be sarcastic. But let's get off the bad stuff, shall we, for a little while here, so we can just think things are normal and have a good time here. So, what did I put? YouTube lives. Oh yeah, and one thing that's been really positive is all of the lives you have to choose from on YouTube right now. Everybody's doing them. To give, I mean, there's an abundance of things to watch and get involved with. Many of them are being interactive. As you know or may not know, I did one last week. I did a sew along with my Idiot Quilt part of the channel, Idiot Quilter. And that went on for about 2.5 hours, and we had a lot of fun, and I was surprised at how many people I had. I mean, I don't get hundreds of thousands, but I did it at 9:15 in the morning, and well, everybody's home, I guess. So I'm going to do some more, and I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to do some that deals with sort of craft sewing, but other ones that deal with crafting using your sewing machine, or just doing what kind of thing we're doing today as well. I might even get experimental and try stuff I've never tried before and do it live and see what happens out of it all. So, you know, if that adds some entertainment, some relief for people, and it's just fun, then that's what I'm aiming for. And one other thing, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this tomorrow in my vlog, but there's a grassroots movement that's has come up in our province and is spreading across Canada, and it may be spreading across other countries in the world too, called Caremongers. And basically, one woman in Toronto had this idea of creating a network of people on Facebook for various areas across where we live, and just basically people volunteering what talents they may have or time or whatever they can do to help other people who can't get out to get groceries, or need someone to talk to right now, or whatever. I joined the group for our area, and I basically said, you know, in another couple of weeks, there will be kids not going back to school. I mean, right now, the March break had been extended for an extra 2 weeks past. Today would have been the last day of March break under normal circumstances, but now it won't end until about April the 5th, or no, something like that. in around next 2 weeks anyways, into April. And I don't know, I have a feeling, looking at the trend across Canada, that those kids may not be going back to school then either. And the government has put together a program, Learn at Home. It isn't, I have a feeling it's not going to work out very well because this government's only doing it for political reasons. This is where they get nasty because, there's the whole fight with the secondary teachers against e-learning, mandatory e-learning, and the government's out to prove a point that it can work, and this is why kids should take courses in e-learning for crises like this. Well, I've offered any kid out there, high school age, grade 9 to 12, since I am a retired English teacher, I have offered to help them online. Basically, be through email, maybe Skype, something like that, remotely, of course, if they need help with whatever they're working with in their curriculum. And I don't know if I'll get any takers, but I put it out there because, well, it's what I used to do, right? So I might as well use it. I think I still remember how to teach. Right, Laura? Laura's a teacher too, Laura Ann. Kathy says, I appreciate you and the others who are doing extra lives for our entertainment. Thank you. And I watch some music lives too. Yeah, there's lots there to watch to keep us entertained. Okay, so let's move right into, speaking of entertainment, and it's fun with flags. No, fun with tags. That's what it is today. So we got our aprons on, and Walter's never done this before. So I will explain to Walter. This is a big tag. You have one in front of you.
Yeah, actually, I thought it'd be smaller than that.
No, I figured go for big. I like big. And you have these as samples. These are ones that I have done over time, various ones, so it might give them some ideas. Originally, I was thinking about doing this with jelly plates, but quite frankly, when there's two of us working on this bench, and this bench isn't that big, I figured it would be a bit too messy for all of that. So we're going for something a little bit more simple. Still kind of messy, but a little bit simple, but then art is. Kathy says she's homeschooling her 8-year-old granddaughter right now. I thought I retired 7 years ago. Yep. It's not that great. You would still need mom or dad to homeschool with them. I sent them a Google message and told them to read. Best way to improve a mind. Well, yeah, they're going to be kids, right? To them, especially the younger ones, maybe not the grade 12 so much, especially since they're, if they're going to college or university next year, or hope to, they're probably a little worried about things like this. But the younger ones, grade 9, grade 10, hey, I don't have to do schoolwork. So, yeah. But I put it out there because that's my expertise, right? Might as well use it. Okay, so moving right along. So what I have done for this is pre-gessoed. Okay, I've already put gesso on it. That just helps the ink to stay on top of it. And we're going to play with oxide inks. And I think everybody knows about oxide inks, basically Tim Holtz's product, which are brilliant, but they're a hybrid of pigment and dye inks, and they react to water, but they react to water differently from his other products, which Walter's going to find out very soon. So first thing we're going to do is lay down a basic background. And so I would pick 2 to 3 colors out of these that grab you. I want Mermaid Lagoon. This is one of my favorites. And, whichever ones you think go together well. And on the edge of these, I have put what they are. You picked a pistachio. Or no, the cracked pistachio. I was thinking of a green. I might go for yellow. Maybe I'll go for wild. Oh wait, there's one here called.
Wait a minute, maybe I'll change my color thing.
Will you change them to? Looking over there. There's a yellow I really like. Maybe I didn't pull it out in this batch because there's more of these. No, spiced marmalade. No, I don't want spiced marmalade. Oh, fossilized amber. That's the one I was looking for. Okay. And I'm going to teach them some techniques as we go through this as well. So, you have an ink applicator, and most of you probably know what this is. I'm actually saying a lot of this stuff for Walter's benefit. And it has a foam pad, and this is what we use to apply the ink. You still picking?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so you take color. Usually you start with the lightest color of your three. Not that it matters that much, but that's usually the trend. And you take your ink applicator, and you're going to get it juicy. Now most of these pads should be in pretty good shape because I haven't used them that much since I got them. And because these are new foam pads on this, you'll want to get a lot of ink worked into them. And now, the Tim Holtz method of doing this is to start off the edge of the tag. So this is we've got a non-stick silicone mat here. And you just start whipping it around wherever you want to put it. And then you can switch colors. Now, when you switch colors, switch your pad out. These are on Velcro. And we'll show you, and if you have any questions along the way or anything you want to say, I keep looking at the comments here so that I can do two things at once. And kind of let your colors blend in to each other.
I'll get brown if I do.
You could. But actually, distress inks or oxide inks are actually very forgiving when it comes to that. And you try to smooth out the rings, unless you like that effect. It's not always easy to get rid of them. Okay, so once you've got the whole surface covered, and I'll let you cover yours. Oh, Chris is here. Hi, Chris. Yeah, well, Laura, it's not brain surgery, okay, that we're doing here. This is just pretty much the standard kind of thing, except gotta remember I have a newbie, okay? So he doesn't know how these things work. And while he's doing that, I need to get a drink. I'll be right back. Sing something, Walter.
La-di-da-di-da-di-da.
Okay, don't bother then.
La-di-dee, la-di-da.
La-di-dee, la-di-da. Ooh, shoot.
I picked ugly colors.
Why? That's okay. This is called the ugly stage in mixed media. Okay, and this is a mixed media tag that we're doing. But you're going to have so many other layers on top of this. Most of this you're not going to see.
Okay.
So don't worry about it. It's what we always say. It's the ugly level. Now, when you get that done, you're going to have play fun with water. And for this, you're going to want your water bottle, which I've got one there for you, and possibly a paper towel, which might be a good idea. And you're just going to, and it's very light. You're not drowning this. You're just spritzing in a few places. And this is where the water will react or make the inks react. And you can let it flow. Now I'll show everybody here what I'm doing. I'm just letting the water run down. And it creates little patterns and pools. I'll show everybody what mine's looking like so far. Now there are many, many techniques for this. And another thing you can do is you can blot, but you will pick up ink, so you blot very lightly. And when you've got it that you like what you've got there, then you're going to take your dryer, and you have one over on your left-hand side, and you're going to hit it with the heat. Jules says, just curious, what did Walter do before retiring? What did you do before you
I'm
retired?
a software developer. Computers.
Yeah. IT. Now this is probably a little bit noisy, but it'll only be for a few seconds. So that is layer one, but we're going to jazz it up. Oh, we're frozen? Laura says we're frozen.
Oh, it doesn't look like we're frozen.
We seem to be okay here. Anybody else having a problem? Just let us know. Not much I can do about it.
I mean, we're looking at it, and we're filming at the same time, and I can see both of us moving.
Yeah. Cindy says it's okay. Bonnie says it's okay. Okay, Laura, it's you. It'll probably come back, or just refresh, Laura, to get it back if it's not coming back to you readily.
What do I do with this?
Hang on to it. You may need it again for something. So, okay. So I have a set of Tim Holtz's stencils here. So pick a stencil. Doesn't matter which one. Anything that you like. Something that's got fairly open space on it, though. Like I picked this one with the holes. That one would work or whatever. Yeah, is that the one you want to use?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either
Now,
that or the spider one.
well, use whatever one you want. Okay, and you're going to take a wet wipe.
Which one's better?
I don't know, up to you.
Okay.
Go with your gut. And you're just laying the stencil anywhere you want on here, and very lightly with a wet wipe, you're going to do this. Because this is water reactive, you can take some of the ink away. So you don't need to do too much. There. Okay, that's all I'm going to do there. And then you hit it with the heat gun again. And are we unfrozen now, Laura, for you? Because everybody else seems to be okay, so the conclusion is, your problem at your end, not mine. Sorry. Now I just have to grab something.
Says yes, thanks. What? She
What's
said
that?
yes, thanks. I don't know.
Okay, because this is a water-soluble product that we're putting on here, when we add any other wet mediums to this, the ink is going to reactivate again. So we have to stop it from doing that. Now, there are several different ways you can do this, but one of my favorite is to use what they call a workable fixative. And all you do is just very lightly. Now this will smell a little bit.
Oh, it smells like my parents' old place.
Oh, good. Nothing like a touch of home.
My
Okay,
dad was a painter.
don't breathe it in too much. Now take your heat gun and dry it. It only takes a little bit of, only a second or two to really dry it. You know, we kind of like the smell of it. It makes me feel happy after a few minutes. Actually, there's one you can get that's a low odor, and I do have that too, but I grabbed the first can. This one isn't a low odor. I mean, I don't recommend that you spray a lot of it. If you're going to use a lot of it, yeah, do it in well-ventilated area. But we haven't used that much, so. And there, that should be dry enough. Now, that should be relatively waterproof.
Like when my dad was a painter, the whole house used to smell like that for days on end.
That's pretty good. So, now, we're still going to be gentle with it on the other layers, but that will help us if we're going to glue something down. So, next layer is we're going to use some matte medium. I have to grab the matte medium. Matte medium. We'll need a couple of brushes. Brushes. I need to soak on my brushes. They're all getting a little bit on the stiff side. Not stiff as in good. Okay, that one will do for you. This won't work. Okay, so we need some tissue. Tissue. Some designer tissue.
Toilet tissue?
Okay, you could wipe your bum with Tim Holtz, but this is a lot more expensive. Although, mind you, what they're charging people for this stuff. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're not going to cover the whole thing with this. You're just going to find something that grabs your interest. Just tear it and lay it down somewhere. I made my tears a little too straight there. I didn't want that. Little fragment, maybe a couple, just in random spots. Jill says, I soak my brushes in liquid fabric softener. Works great. Oh, I didn't know that. I've got a thing called, some kind of a thing in a jar that I use for that.
My dad always said put liquid detergent on them.
Oh, well, that's what she's suggesting, kind of a thing. So, okay, so what you do is, to put this down, is whichever area first, you lay down a little bit. Don't overbrush. You should be protected, but a little bit of your ink's going to come off. You can see that? And that doesn't hurt, because that's the nature of the beast. And then you just put a little more over the top of it. Don't overwork it, because then you'll take off a lot of your ink. We don't want to do that. Actually, I should have got us some water. I didn't think about this. Best laid plans of mice and men. You can hit that with your heat gun once you get your pieces on there. I'm just going to grab some water.
So you should dilute the fabric softener.
Oh, okay. Good to know. That may be a project next week, because my brushes are in bad shape. Okay, so hit it with your heat gun.
My stuff will be stuck down in a couple of spots.
That's okay, you're gonna add another layer here. Doesn't have to be absolutely bone dry, but sort of dry, relatively dry to the touch. Because we're going to add another layer. This time we're going to use, I should have pulled this stuff out before I started this. Well, I didn't know exactly what we'd be doing. Where is my talk to people? I said talk, not sing.
I'm not much of a talker.
Not much of a what?
Talker.
Oh,
Not to camera, anyway.
here we go. This is what I want. Okay. Some book text. So you're going to just do the same thing. Rip it up. Stick it on a few places. You can go off the edge too. Actually, I don't want that much white.
Okay, that's good too.
I got some music here too. I'm going to add a little music. And you do the same thing again. You'll want to just dry off your brush a little bit. Lors, I just have cheapies from Amazon and I give them a rinse when I'm done. They bounce back well. Yeah, my brushes are not expensive brushes either. And I usually clean them afterwards, but they still go hard on me sometimes. Chris is going to a local craft store for a craft session today with a friend. Their craft room is huge. We take... What? You're kidding me. Chris, you're kidding me. You're going into an environment with other people? You're not doing social distancing? No, come on. Oh, wait. I will be taking a walkie-talkie so we can still use social distancing while crafting. Okay. You know, quite frankly, I don't think you should be taking the chance, even with walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
That's, no. I'm sorry, Chris. I love you a lot, but no. No, I'm sorry.
They've also found that the virus can suspend in air for a period of time, 3 hours or something.
Yeah. No, Chris, I think you're gambling here. Is doing some craft, I mean, it'd be nice, yes, to do it out there, but is it worth your life? Really, you be really, really careful with that. Yeah, no. I wouldn't even consider it myself, not at all.
We canceled all our sewing classes and
Yep.
stuff too.
And yeah, I don't think you should take the risk. I really don't. I have to be honest about that. I just don't think it's worth the risk. Although I have to say, walkie-talkies is a novel idea, but I still don't think it's a good idea. But anyways, it's your decision. Just keep in mind that there's other people that could be affected by your decision. You know? I hope you don't hate me for what I'm saying about that, but that's just how I feel.
There's just two of them.
Walter said, or Chris says, well, if it's just two of you, yeah, that's not so bad. But still, actually, I'm surprised that the craft store is running a craft session during this time.
Surprised that
It's
the craft
open?
stores are open.
I mean, here we have Michael's. You've probably heard of Michael's before. They're a big chain in North America, which gouge you. They are, their store's closed. You can order online and you can get curbside pickup, but you can't go into the store for it.
And a lot of other stores are closed. In fact, our government has said for as much to close as possible.
Yeah. Really, Chris, come on. Rethink it for your own health, okay? I mean, I know it's disappointing, but in the long run, I think you'd be safer. Okay, so we're going to dry this. Now this layer you want to get pretty dry because the next thing we're going to do is going to be a little rough on this.
You want it to be really dry?
Yes, yeah, this layer should be really dry. Is that one drying okay?
I think so.
It should be. This one's a little bit more powerful. It's not a dryer, it's an embossing gun, but
Yeah, mine feels pretty dry.
oh yeah, you're good. Okay, I think I'm good. Okay, did you have any that went over the edges?
No.
I did, so I need to cut those off. Where are my scissors? Show everybody what yours looks like at this point.
I don't know. It looks ugly to me. Anyway.
It's still at the ugly stage. This is what I hear from people in my classes too, but my ladies all know this is what we call the ugly stage, so. Now the next stage, I'm just gonna clean this up here. Next stage is to grab a rubber stamp from behind you. And I'm talking about ones that have like a texture to them more so than a definite shape. Although you could use something with a definite shape if you find something that grabs you. Like that one. You might want to grab two. Doesn't really matter, whatever grabs your attention will work. And while Walter's picking that out, I'm just going to grab some more stuff. Hope this hasn't dried up. Oh, that was still good. Good. Okay, so you got that. So you've got a StazOn pad over there. And all you're going to do is just ink it up, and it doesn't take a lot of ink, and just slam it down in a couple of spots. Don't worry about trying to get a perfect impression because it doesn't matter. This just adds texture to what we're doing. And don't be afraid to go off the edge as well because that makes it interesting. And then use your other one as well, just for some variety. And sometimes you can just take a part of the stencil or the rubber stamp and just put a little ink on it. Okay. And by the way, this stuff won't come off your hands for a few days. Okay, so while Walter's putting his rubber stamps, here's what mine's looking like right now as well. This is not a competition, people. Okay, just clean up a little bit here. Now, the next stage of this is to grab a stencil. Grab a stencil that's different from the one you used originally. Whatever grabs you again. And take one of your colors of ink and just in random spots, just rub a little bit of ink. Not a whole lot, just a little to get a little bit more texture. And this is why I wanted to make sure that we dried this well, because we could tear up some of our pieces. And because we put some more of this ink down, which is, the StazOn is not water soluble. It's permanent. Nothing will take that sucker off. But since we're using our Distress Oxide ink again, which is water soluble, I'm going to give it another blast of fixative. Ooh, wow, hey man, pretty colors. Whoa. Oh wow, man, huff that glue. Yeah, oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Maybe I should have called this having fun with fumes. Okay, now I need to grab some spray. More spray.
Spray.
Some color spray.
Oh.
Because now we're going to get messy. Messy, messy, messy. So, you'll have to go through this and pick out a color you haven't used that you think will work with what you got, or something close. Oh, that one. I'm using that one. And you'll need to shape these up a little bit. Now, what we have in our hand right now is just Tim Holtz's Distress Spray Stains. I'm not even sure if he's still making this stuff. I have the complete collection with extras. Had them for years. That's why I'm saying shaking them up well. And hopefully the sprayers aren't blocked on them.
Oh, green.
Ooh, green. Okay. And now we're going to get messy. Where did I put it? Here it is. Okay, I need a couple of spatulas. Okay, one for you, one for me. You're going to color some modeling paste. So you put out a few scoops of modeling paste out of this jar on here. That should do.
Is that my own scoop?
You put your own scoop. Yeah, use your own scoop because we're doing two different colors here. And give it a little bit of...
Oh, you got green too.
No, I have lime green. And just mix it into this until it's relatively evenly mixed up. It will go lighter, so you may want to add more, depending on the shade you want to deal with. And that's all up to you. I want mine darker. And because this is a water-soluble product and this stuff is wet, you may need more color. I need just a little bit more. It's like making icing. So far we've used several products. We started off with Distress Oxide ink to create a overall background, just to add color. And then we layered on top of that, or we took some of the color off with a stencil to add texture. Then we used some old textbook pages ripped up, more texture. And then we used some rubber stamping and a stencil as well on that. So now what we're going to do is you're going to take another stencil, and again, this is up to you. You can use one that you've already used. You can use something different. You want something that doesn't have too fine of a weave to it, fairly open. And actually, to make our lives a little easier, I'm going to get another spray. But this one is a repositionable glue of sorts. Shaking it up well. Oh yeah, I have lots of products, believe me. And what I like to do is give my stencil a light squirt of this, and this will help hold the stencil down so you put it wherever you want to. You're not trying to cover the whole thing. Is that what you want? I'll spray it for you. And this just makes it easier so the paste doesn't go under it. And then you take your spatula, take some of this up, and you don't have to put it on too thick. And you don't have to cover up the entire stencil. It's up to you. And I see that I've got a little bit of a goopy part over here, so I'm just going to lightly take a little of that off. And then very carefully pull your stencil up. And now, since we both picked greens, we're going to share. I'm going to use some of your green, you're going to use some of my green, and you're just going to put it in one other spot on the stencil, wherever you want, and it will re-stick down. I shouldn't have to spray it again. Kind of clumpy on me, but that's okay. Actually, I might put down some down here at the bottom, just because I want it to be symmetrical, or sort of symmetrical. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, now we need to do a cleanup before we dry this, so just find a spot where you can lay it down, and you're going to take a wet wipe and you're going to clean your stencil once I get this cleaned up here, because you're going to have to put the stencil down on here. And take a paper towel, and you're going to lay the paper towel down here on the table first. Lay the paper towel down, put your stencil on top of it, and then take a wet wipe and just clean off as much as you can. It won't be perfect. Okay, did you have to take the whole table? No. Because if you leave this stuff to dry on the stencil, it'll plug up the holes in your stencil when it dries. So you're just being mindful that some of those pieces might pop up, and you don't want them to pop up because you ruin the stencil if that does it. The idea of the paper towel behind it, it absorbs some of the stuff that you're pushing through the cracks, and then just flip it over and do the back side. And that's all there is to cleaning it, and then we're just going to set it over here to dry. That'll do.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not a big stencil cleaner. Hasn't killed me yet. Okay. All right, so take your heat gun. Now you're going to have, this will take a bit of time because you got to dry that. And you want to keep your heat gun moving because this stuff is actually an acrylic and it'll bubble if it gets too hot.
So we're watching paint dry.
So we're watching paint dry, yep. It's an occupational hazard. Some of this crap out of our way. Well, this is fun. I haven't done this in a while. Are you having fun? Hello?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
No, yeah, no. Can you hear the enthusiasm in Walter's voice?
Nairee's here.
Oh, hi, Nairee.
I guess, yeah, Chris said that Tim still makes them, I think, those sprays.
Oh, do they? Yeah, I wasn't sure if he did or not. Because he's come out with the Distress Oxide inks now in the spray form, and I have resisted buying them, mainly because I don't use these sprays very often. That's why I have so many of them, because I don't use them that often. And I don't know. Do I need more products? Not really. And they're not particularly cheap. I think one bottle is about $8 Canadian. Now, normally, if you were not an impatient crafter, and I'm an impatient crafter, you would probably walk away from this for about an hour and not bother, just let it air dry. But I'm an impatient crafter. Yeah, you're watching paint dry.
How can you tell if it's dry?
It'll be hard. Now, it may feel though right now when you touch it, like it's still a little wet, but that's because it's warm. When it cools down, it'll probably be okay. So, you know, when you can touch it and it's not really peeling up on your fingers, it's probably dry enough. And once it cools down a little bit, it'll go harder. You just want it dry enough that the next layer we put on is not going to peel this up. So a few more seconds and probably be good.
Tim has more colors, so many more colors now.
What?
According to Chris.
Oh. Yeah, I know. I think there's 60 colors in his palette now, something like that. He actually hasn't added any new colors in a couple of years. All he's done is change the product. The colors that he has for the Distress Oxides are basically the same colors in his Distress ink line. And he's been releasing them in bits and pieces. I think they're all released now. And it's the same with the sprays. They're the same color palette. But there are 60, I think. I think in total 60. Okay, mine's dry enough. How's yours feel? Yeah, you're good. You're probably better than I am, actually. I got a little thick on there. Okay, so here's, hold it up. So here's what our mess looks like so far. So what we've been working on so far is background. This is all background. So now we're going to get into the fun part, how to embellish this. First thing I like to do is I want to give it some depth. So I'm going to take one of my inks. I'm going to take one of the colors I'd already picked, or I could use the Stays On, or I could use another color. And I'm just going to go around the edges. So I'm going to show Walter how that works. In fact, I am going to pick a different color. I'm going to go into the browns. And I'm going to use, this is Gathered Twigs. And I've got a new pad on here, so I need to really get it juiced up. And then all you're going to do is just do this. You're just going to go around the edges, and it just gives it a little bit of depth. And you can do it as dark as you like or as light. It's all up to you. Yeah, I've got a big stash of stuff, believe me. Most of it I don't use anymore. Okay. Oops, I'm losing things. Okay, so in this basket I have a whole bunch of ephemera. And now it's time to get a little bit 3D-ish. And I'm just going through here and I'm finding things that grab my interest. Or you can go through that one if you want. And there's those are chipboard pieces. You can use those too. And these are words. And where are my paper dolls? Gotta find my paper dolls. I love the Tim Holtz paper dolls. Must be up here. Hello people, I'm closer. What did I do with my paper dolls? Oh, I wonder if they're in my classroom supplies. I bet you I left all those in my basket. So I may not be using any Tim Holtz paper dolls, because I think that's where they are. Well, that's okay. I'll make do with what I've got. Grab another one of these. Ooh, like those. I might have enough. You can look through here too. Find something to grab. Well, Chris, you want to know something? You can probably get away with the number that you have, because I find that I always go to the same colors a lot in my things that I do. And yeah, so, but there was a stage when I had to have everything. So we're just picking out things that are grabbing our interest. And the thing with doing mixed media, as I'm sure most of you know, you don't put a lot of thought into it. You just go with the flow. And this is where you're finding elements and you're laying them onto the tag and you're kind of, you know, auditioning them. Before you stick them down.
I'm liking your shit.
Oh, aren't we picky? Walter says he doesn't know if he likes any of my shit. Well, there's other things too. I didn't pull all the crap out. If there's something else that would grab your interest.
No, it's okay. I'll figure it out.
I have stickers. Some Tim Holtz elements here. Well, there are not many of those in there. I've gone through a lot of them. Oh, I want to take those out though, because we might use those. Viewers. Okay. I'm gonna use some viewers on this. Okay. What are people saying? Looking great. Nairi says, one regret about my craft supplies is that I thought I needed every color. Yeah, I don't have a regret about that. I just don't use them. My butterflies.
No,
Oops. I dropped the butterflies.
I've got one.
Yeah, I need some glue, and I think I'll use Gorilla Glue. If you want Gorilla Glue, there's Gorilla Glue there too. So I like to use Gorilla Glue on these kind of things, especially if I'm using any metallic ones, because the Gorilla Glue dries very quickly, or grabs very quickly. And, okay, if I can get the lid off, there it is. And as I said, I'm an impatient crafter. Peeky, peeky, peeky. Some of these embellishments come with a little sticky thing on the back, but I never trust that, especially when you're doing layers like with acrylic paint or whatever. I find they don't tend to stick, to sticky very long. So that's why I like to use something like Gorilla Glue. You're still picking away, right? Okay, this group.
Oh shit!
What'd you do?
I pulled it apart.
Oh yeah, wreck it. Sure, fine. That'll be $15.99, thank you.
You picked all the good ones.
My stash.
Oh, there's more stuff here.
Yeah, there's more stuff.
I didn't realize there was more stuff. I thought,
I haven't bought a lot of stuff for the stash in a long time. Trying to use up what I've got. Okay, this glue's just about done. Sorry, people, that we're not doing a lot of chit chat here. Or maybe you're not sorry we're not doing a lot of chit chat. It's just when I start getting into crafting, I tend to can't talk and craft at the same time. that one. Still picking, are you? Okay, I'm just going to hit mine with a little bit of heat here to speed up.
Yeah, okay, well,
But
okay.
still good.
That's okay. That'll be fine.
You have a lot of faith in yourself as a crafter.
So what do I do now?
Now you're going to lay them out and put them wherever you want to put them. Sort of like a collage effect. Well, it is a type of collage, but my go-to is always
So
flowers.
what do I do? You stick it on with something?
Yeah, with the Gorilla Glue. Mind you don't stick your fingers. Gorilla Glue's like crazy glue almost. Roses and flowers everywhere. Maybe not. Oh, we still got people there? You're all hanging in there, are you? So, I may have to borrow your Gorilla Glue because mine ran out.
Oops. Broken.
Good, it's vintage now. You've antiqued it. Kathy says, looking forward to seeing the finished products.
I'm not.
Why, yours looks nice.
Well, you have the nicest stuff. You picked the nicest stuff for yourself and you gave me all the crappy stuff.
I didn't give you anything. You had an equal time to go in the basket.
Yeah, but none of the nice
Oh
stuff
yeah,
was
like,
there.
oh yeah. Well, why don't you go play in the other sandbox then?
You got scissors?
There should be a pair right up there, or here. Use these ones. You got them?
Oh.
Your scissor challenged? What? I think they could have more glue in these bottles than they do for $8. But it is good glue. I do like it. Especially for 3D embellishments. What?
I got been doing it.
Oh. Old men should not do crafts. Ooh, I'm sticking my fingers together. Not a good thing with this glue. Any glue? Or are you still picking?
Trying to figure out.
Thanks, Chris. But you may want to reserve your judgment until we show them to you. May look okay from your point of view over there. Now, one secret with mixed media, you should always let elements overlap and touch. What are you looking for?
Scissors.
I don't know, you had them. There. Stick down. Oh, might want to stop that. Oh, okay. Gorilla Glue, when heat hits it, does give off fumes that burn. Okay. Note to self: not everything should be heated up. Okay. And I need something to put across it that says something. What have I got in here? Paper ones. Whoa, yeah, you can get high off that.
Doesn't stuff stick very well.
You have to hold it down for a few seconds on things like this, so it will set. This needs to be holding. So I'm just checking to make sure mine are holding down. Actually, I want. So I'm just adding some dimensional elements to raise up my little words on here. I like to do that. Again, it gives it more of a 3D effect. I'm just using dimensional squares. They come in pop dots, whatever. There's all kinds of different ones. And how are you coming? Are you making this for somebody special?
No,
Thank God, because I don't want it.
maybe your mother.
Oh God. Yeah, my mother doesn't appreciate art. Ribbon. Let's make a nice blue and yellow. Three-way. I can't get that many in. What? You having problems? I find that the flowers sometimes are difficult. Just get stuck down. Because they're paper. And the paper, I think, absorbs that glue. So I'm just adding a little ribbon to the top of my tag. Because it's got a hole for it, so why not? Hope everything stays stuck to it. What color ribbon would you like?
I don't care.
Green?
Yeah, okay.
Good, I suggest that one because I haven't got already.
You got any saying for me? Like,
Here you go.
stick it.
Here, let's find something that. Oh, I think that this would be the perfect one for you. Etc.
Etc.
Now you might want to go. What I did was I went around the edges with some ink. Don't like that one.
Lost.
Lost relic. There's relic in there. I don't have a lot of those left.
Wonder. Relic. Field. Lucky.
Is there one that says God awful?
Be brave.
No. Be brave. Be brave. Be bold. No, wait. Before you do that, you might want to accent it a little bit. See.
Maybe etc. will be there.
just go around the edges with it. It just makes it stand out a little bit more. That is if you want to. I mean, you don't have to take my suggestion. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. I mean, I don't care. Wait, do you want to raise it up a bit?
I don't know.
Here, so you don't have to use the glue. Put 3 of these on, one either end, one in the middle. We are messy crafters.
Where should I stick this?
Well, bend, no. Wherever, where do you want to put it? There, that looks lovely. Now, ribbon, just put it through your hole.
Oh, I don't put this through right there.
If you double it over and then pull it through the loop, that's what I do. Like, you know what I mean? Or maybe you don't know what I mean. Or maybe you just want to do your own thing with it, which would not be unusual. Just trying to get a nice clean slate here so we can show off our beautiful pieces of art. Our fun with tags.
Okay, do I need to make shorten this thing?
What's that?
Shorten it?
I would. Or you can tie a bow in it or whatever. I leave
I
it
don't
like-
know how to type.
That's why I don't tie bows. But you might have better luck with that. So, you got it. Or you can just cut off the ends of it a little bit.
Yeah,
shorten
let's
it.
do that.
Okay. All right, ready for the big reveal, people. Drum roll, please. Okay, here's mine. And there's Walter's. And his looks fine. It's just fun.
It's fun.
It's just fun. You're
with
going to take
tags.
it closer?
Take it closer.
You're taking it closer, okay. Here, hold mine up. We're not having a vote, people. It wasn't a competition. Well, Kathy's being generous. She goes, oh, so colorful and pretty. They're just cute. Which is, wasn't that what you said that the woman in your stained glass used to say to
Yeah,
people
yeah.
when she didn't really like
Oh,
what
I
they
had a
did?
piece fall off.
Well, reglue it. Your glue's over there.
Yeah, she always said there's a lady I used to do stained glass at, and she used to always say that whenever she saw something, whenever somebody did something and she thought it was ugly, she would say, oh, that was so cute. And every time I heard that in the class, she told me that years ago, she'd say that, oh, that is so cute. And then I'd start to snicker and laugh because I knew what she meant. And she'd always look at me and sort of wink at me.
She didn't really mean that it was a fine piece of artwork. Okay, so, hey, don't be trying to steal mine. I kind of like mine. Except
You know,
I kind of
I
covered up
glued it
the
on the wrong
face.
way,
and this-
but it won't.
oh well, no one's going to notice that. Okay, so that was fun with tags today, such as it was. Cindy says she loves them both. That's the diplomatic answer. Nice tags, lovely spring summer colors. Mel says, oh hi Mel, you're here. Yeah, I didn't think about spring colors, but okay, that's good. All right. Well, that was fun with tags, so I hope you got a chuckle out of that and didn't bore you too much watching paint dry. We'll do another art attack, but not in the recent, sometime down the road, okay? Not next week with it all. So anyways, people have been asking for an art attack, so we gave you an art attack. So there you go, such as it was. Okay, so that's our time. So I hope everybody has a safe week.
Yeah.
Don't do anything foolish. Keep that social distancing and everything like that. And watch for my impromptu lives over the next week or two. Some of them might be on sewing, some of them might be on art. I'm thinking art experiments, meaning, ooh, let's get out the chemicals and mix them, shall we? And see what happens. And yeah, tomorrow my vlog will be up. And I hope everybody has a really great week.
And a safe week.
And a safe week. And stay healthy and all that good stuff. And hopefully this whole thing will be over with before we know it. We can only hope. Okay, have a good one, everybody.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
joining us. And where's my stuff?